You're an entrepreneur, and you make vital decisions that hopefully blossom into a business. You're the savvy, out-of-the-box risk taker who believes wholeheartedly in the process of innovation. Innovation that will change the world. This is CEO Chat with Gresham Harkless, and you're about to embark on a journey through the awesome world of business. Gresham is the epitome of drive and desire as he works to help support small businesses and entrepreneurship. And you're about to learn from this entrepreneur how you can improve your odds of success in the business world. Welcoming the host of CEO Chat, here's Gresham Harkless.
Hello, this is Gresham from the I'm CEO podcast, CEO Chat podcast. I have a very special guest that's back within our community to hear about all the awesome things you're doing. So I have Leslie Luckritz of Alexandria Massage Therapy and Wellness Center. Leslie, excited to have you back.
I'm very excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it was some years ago that we interviewed Leslie for our DMV CEO site. I actually got to go on site, had a massage, all the awesome things, all the bells and whistles, and it was just an awesome I'm just gonna say energy of everything that you had going there. So I appreciate you, taking some time out to talk with us a little bit more about what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I figured the best place to start is to kind of rewind the clock, hear a little bit more on how you got started.
Okay. Well, as you know, I used to dance professionally, and I suffered some major knee injuries. And the doctors told me back in 90 something that I probably wouldn't walk again without a knee replacement surgery. And our knowledge of joint replacements has grown significantly since that time. At this time, they wouldn't have done that. But that's what they told me, and I had to end my dance career, and I didn't really feel the teacher-child connection for my degree. So I went into massage, which is more of a one-on-one teaching experience with adults, which is more my speed.
Right.
So I decided to go into massage, and pretty much since the very beginning, when I first considered doing body work, I was drawn to build a facility that combines conventional and alternative medicines to help the best outcome for patients who are in chronic pain or who have bigger issues than you normally get into with any of your healthcare professionals. I find that a lot of my clients and a lot of the clients of the people that work with me say that they trust their massage therapist's opinion more than they trust their doctor, and where that's not a thing where I really advocate, we really go there.
Right.
But at the same time, we see you more often. We see all of your issues more often, and can help you find pathways to healthier living. Whether it depends on the client always. But what we are striving for at Alexandria Massage Therapy and Wellness Center is to build experiences of wellness instead of better massage practices. I picked some of the most intuitive, talented, creative massage therapists I have ever worked with are on my team. And they will talk to the client and come up with something that they know about your situation and help you in the vein that they're trained to do so in. I had a massage recently, and I couldn't turn my head to the right. And so my massage therapist listened to all of the reason why, and then separated my massage out into body work section and a stretching session. So by the time I was done, there was no more crick in my neck, and I have free total movement, and my body feels amazing. And it wasn't, oh, we're just signing you up for 90 minutes of massage.
Right.
It's more of a tailored experience. And so we've added acupuncture and sound healing, Thai yoga massage. We've offered a massage chair for people who are a little more sensitive to touch from another human that still want to get body work in. We have therapists who work without music if you are sensitive to external stimulation. And we're working to develop programs that target individual communities, such as the LGBTQ community and transgender population. We haven't opened that program, but that's where our next steps are headed towards. So,
Nice. I absolutely love that. And obviously I'm sorry to hear about your injury, but it sounds like it propelled you in the right direction.
say the universe has a way.
Exactly, exactly. It's so funny you said that. I don't know, if, when we had you on before or talked about it, but I tore my Achilles tendon, and it was probably one of the most painful injuries that I've had. But now looking backwards, I can say definitely it happened for the better things. I started the podcast and blog and all of that, but it's so I guess looking back, it's so interesting to see how sometimes those stoppages, those things that happen in our life propel us to something. So I wanted to drill down a little bit more. I know you touched on some of the ways and modalities by which you use to serve your clients. Could you drill down a little bit more and tell us a little bit more on what that looks like?
Absolutely. In most cases, every one of the providers that comes and actually makes a home at Alexandria Massage Therapy and Wellness Center strives to make the life of their client a better quality of life. So when you come in and you talk to the therapist, or even when it starts with the front desk staff, we'll ask you questions about what kind of massage you're looking for and what depth of pressure you're looking for. Are you looking for any add-on services that we might provide so that we can help to put you with the right therapist on the first try? So nobody wants to go through looking for the therapist forever and ever. So we try to match you with the right therapist on the first try. What happens when you come into Alexandria Massage Therapy and Wellness Center is you will have a conversation with your therapist, and your therapist will tailor all of the knowledge that they're continually learning to make the best experience for you while you're on the table. We also have, like I said, the infrared sauna to add to this if you need more external detox, or we have energy healing if you want more soothing, opening energies. And we have the sound healing if you're just so overwhelmed and your head feels like static. Sound healing is one of the best things for that, because it opens up and it helps to resonate your entire body into harmony instead of that chaos that we get from being out in noise pollution.
Right.
So we have a few ways to help you out, just depending on where you're at and what you're looking for.
Yeah, but you know what I really like about that is I think so many times, I guess when you're doing one type of modality or one type of thing, it's almost like, I think I need this, that I'm having this pain, or, I don't like this such, you go through those things and you end up being a good fit or not a good fit, but a lot of times you don't know that till after the fact. It sounds like that very first step is a lot around like asking those questions of really meeting people where they are, as we talked about a little bit offline, so that at the end of the day, you can say, okay, these are the things that might work best for you.
Absolutely. Because I personally do deep tissue. I do scar tissue relief and some of the deepest massage of anybody that I know. Not everybody likes that. Not everybody needs that. And in fact, sometimes that can be overly painful for no reason to somebody who doesn't need my work. So I work with 10 other incredibly talented and intuitive professionals that fill in all those other gaps. So I have people who do light touch, but very intense light work, so they can still get some of those knots out and things like that. I have people who do pure relaxation. I have people who will do trigger point work, who will do like Thai yoga massage, which is a whole modality around stretching and getting all of those places that kind of catch when you're moving. Do you know what I'm talking about? When you're going out to do a sport and you're like, oh yeah, ow.
That's where it's hurting.
Right?
Yeah,
So
we feel it then.
helps to work all those things out even before you start to go out there. So it just depends on what, and I have my receptionists listening for keywords to help them get to the right therapist the first time. It's not 100%, but we do what we can with the information you give us and what we know about our therapist.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I was thinking it's almost like a match.com, experience. It sounds like you have in the beginning where you're actually listening, you're doing that in-depth analysis and understanding so that you can make that match, as best as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, like one of the things you talked about with your massage that you went through that kind of resonated with me is that it kind of sounds like the word creativity is popping up more than anything else, where you start to create your own experience, your own journey, based on, what you're trying to achieve. It's not just like you have to fit in this box. You end up getting to create that box, or there is no box at all.
Exactly, with a wellness partner who's invested in your well-being, who sees you regularly and talks to you about all the things and has knowledge in some of those spaces.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Absolutely love that. Do you think that's kind of like what sets you apart and makes, the organization,
Oh,
unique?
1000%.
Yeah, I thought so.
This is what makes us so different from a lot of those corporate places who have, 100 procedures just for showing up. We have some of those procedures too, but we leave a lot more freedom to the therapist, to the provider. I trust each of my therapists and providers explicitly. I audition every single one of them. I know what quality of work they do, and I stand by them. So I know that when I say you need to go get a massage, that you will have the best experience that you could possibly have in a massage in my doors. That's where you can get that experience, and you can send somebody else, and it won't be the exact experience you had, but it'll be the same quality of experience. Where a lot of those corporate massages, they're like, okay, you have to do 5 strokes on each arm,
Right.
and you have to make sure that you're even. But what happens if I have an injury and I want you only to work on one arm?
Right.
I want to feel that relief. I want to feel better. And a cookie cutter massage, where it works for 80% of the people, doesn't work for everybody. So we're really for those people who really want to make strides and improvement in their sphere.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I appreciate you, going in depth about, that. And I really fully understand now, because that experience word really, connects and resonates, because a lot of times when you go to a really great restaurant and you don't just go just to check off, hey, I ate this, hey, I ate that. You go for that experience, the ambiance, the feeling, the unique journey that you can only get at that time.
Yeah, I love to use the examples of hamburgers, because like you can get a McDonald's hamburger
Right.
anywhere and it's exactly the same. Or you can go to RGB and get a good burger,
Right.
and it's different for everybody.
Right.
So it's a very similar analogy to that food.
Yeah, I love that, and definitely a little hungry now too. So that always helps out. But exactly. So I guess, could you take me through a little bit more on I know you mentioned that you tried to find the most, I don't know if you were using the word creative, but the most I guess it sounds like people that were willing to go outside the grain, to stretch boundaries, to have that culture. How have you been able to kind of build that culture and attract those people to you?
Absolutely. So I've been really blessed to find some of the most talented and creative, intuitive therapists across the board. I am always looking for talent. So I am always recruiting. I'm always looking for the best massage therapist I can find. I'm also open to other types of wellness practitioners. We have an acupuncturist, we have an energy healer, we have a Thai massage person. Like, we do multiple things. And because we are a wellness space, we have room for those things. They are all very complementary, and we move our clients between each other as needed. So sometimes you're going to see your relaxation therapist, and that relaxation therapist is going to say, oh, there's a spot here. I can't really get this part out. That's not my specialty. I'd like you to see 30 minutes with Leslie. Right. And then they'll come and they'll see me, and I'll get that spot out, and then they'll go back and see their relaxation person. And so we are also very collaborative in our practice, which is unusual for massage therapists. So that is part of what builds the culture. And then because we have such amazing talent in the building, once a massage therapist comes into our team, they always go through a process of understanding that there's so much talent and knowledge in the building that they then go out and tell other people. And then we start to have a community of this wellness philosophy, and people coming and asking me if they can get on their schedule. Like, yeah, absolutely. We're also offering professional discounts to other massage therapists, because the people who don't take care of themselves the most are the people who work on other people.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's so important to fill up
Yeah.
that cup so that you can pour into others.
that's right. So we are continuously trying to build these communities. My next step is to start a body worker happy hour that we're going to do twice a year
Nice.
to try to get some more community built in between the providers.
Nice. I love that. And especially again, pouring into the people that you probably need the most pouring into as
Indeed.
well too. And then creating that culture, that environment so that you can, collaborate. The word I wrote down actually was ego, just because I think so many times when you're, good at what you do, it sometimes be hard to let go or
Just
have
share.
somebody else share, have somebody else go spend that 20 minutes elsewhere. But I think when you're able to create that environment, I think it just creates, you end up being better at what you do. And so does the person. At the end of the day, you serve the client to the best ability.
Absolutely. And I support each of my therapists in developing their own style, in developing their own specialties, because just like tea, no one's going to like everyone.
Right.
And no one's going to like every practice. And as I mentioned, I'm very deep and I work on scar tissue and I work on injury. And not everybody needs that.
Right.
Some people need better sleep, and
Right.
some people have writer's block, and some people just can't do that level of fascial work. And that's okay. I don't need to be different for them, because that wouldn't be my best massage. That's why we have all 10 of us, because
Right.
together we can encompass the majority of the population. And that's part of what lets us let go of the ego part. I may be the best scar tissue therapist in the building and still have that feeling of like, I'm really good at what I do. But there's somebody else who's the best energy healer, and there's someone else who does the best footwork, and someone else who does the best leg work. And, so together we can suit just about everybody.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I often will say, if you run your own race, you can't lose. And I think that speaks directly to what you're saying, where if you stay true to yourself, confident in yourself, then you have that
Exactly.
opportunity to win.
If you're giving your best massage every time, then we're all winning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I wanted to kind of switch gears and go a little bit more behind the scenes. So I know you touched on a little bit on, like, if someone was to call and say that they need services, how that process goes. So I would love to hear more on, like, those steps and how you've been able to kind of, keep all those things kind of organized and all those things to build a business for someone.
Absolutely. Well, we try to keep a balance. When you call us, we don't want you on the phone for 20 minutes trying to figure things out. We know you're busy. We know you have a list of things to do, and this is just one of those things you want to tick off and be on your way. So we try to work with you as fast as possible. So what we're going to ask you is, when do you want to come in? And do you have a therapist in mind already? We have descriptions of our providers online. And so you're able to get a good idea of what their focus is and what type of massage they do and that sort of thing. So if you have a preference, great. We'll go ahead and go right with that. If you don't, we'll ask you about your depth of pressure preference. We'll ask you if there are any styles of massage that you're looking for, any particular areas that you need to focus on, that sort of thing, so that we can try to put you with a therapist who that is, oh, this sounds just like Shay. I'll put you with Shay today. So that is how we do that. We have scales of 1 to 10 depth of pressure, a list of modalities that each therapist does, and a list of maladies that they prefer to work on. Like myself, I like to work on fascial tissue, so carpal tunnel syndrome, plantar fasciitis, random chronic pain you don't know where it's coming from. These are my wheelhouse. But I have a therapist who loves to work in depth in the pelvic region. And then we have amazing acupuncturists who can help you figure out all of what's out of balance in your body. We do warming services if you run chronically cold. We have stretch services if you don't like to stretch after your workout too, but we can absolutely help you make sure that you are in the right place.
Right.
So you tell us what you're looking for and we'll try to match that with you.
Yeah, and it kind of sounds like too, that first conversation, sometimes it's just like, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z, or A, B, and C, and you guys kind of I guess, take the hand of the person along the journey so that they end up in the right place.
We do our best
Yeah.
every time to treat each person like an individual.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that the first time that I went to a spot,
Mhm.
I was ignored by the staff. I asked for a service, they never gave it to me.
Oh, no.
And I was not confident enough to feel like I could walk up there and be like, hey, what happened?
Right.
You know, I felt intimidated by the whole situation. It was very cliquish. It was very out of my comfort zone. And when I opened my practice, it was a core value of mine to never make anybody feel that way, to make you feel like you belong here from the second that you call us. And that is another thing that I feel makes us different. I'm sure there are other places out there who feel similarly, but we want to make sure that you never get that corporate feeling. So it all starts with the first phone call. It all starts with that first impression of the front desk, of the people who are working and answering the phones and who are greeting you when you walk in the door.
Absolutely.
And really, it's the hardest position to hire for and to train for.
That makes sense, to probably have that knowledge and the ability to be able to kind of have that talent. I feel like that's part of like what brought us kind of here today in the Intelligent Office. It's like, you know, something happened where you had an experience where that person or that individual wasn't filled and you had to fill that in pretty quickly, it sounded like.
Yes, actually, I had so I usually keep full front desk staff.
Mhm.
And I had an incident where found out that there was some nefarious activities going on,
Mm.
and I had to let go of my full-time receptionist immediately.
Oh, no.
It was terrifying and heart-wrenching, and because we're such a small business, everybody is very
Essential.
close. We talk to each other very much, and everybody is essential. A huge loss for the clients, even because the clients get to know everybody by name, and it's and because I then have to do that person's job also, and then also try to find somebody to do that job, and then also train that person to do that job. That's like 3 separate things I need to be doing all the time. And that's very overwhelming as a business owner. Because that is not the only thing that I have to do. I still have to do all the other stuff.
You were doing the other 10 hats you were wearing, right?
Right. That's just 3 extra jobs.
Right.
And so I always, well, up until this point, because I have now found Intelligent Office, I have been really slow to let people go when I should have, which is not always good for business.
Right.
When you find somebody doing something that isn't good for your clients, you have to make changes.
Right.
And Intelligent Office has really given me the freedom to be a business owner and not have to completely stop running the business to work in the business.
Right.
And it's been life-saving.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so powerful what you said. It gave you space to be a business owner because, you know, there's the book, The E-Myth, and it talks a lot about working on the business versus in the business. Yeah. And like sometimes we're so passionate about what it is that we do that we work in the business. But once we have that opportunity to move out and work in the business, we often want to continue to kind of see that fostered, but that only happens if you have the right people.
Yeah, without the support, there's no chance. And so the E-Myth, by the way, the very first business book I ever read.
Oh, really? Oh, smart. Whoever. Yeah, genius.
First one.
I wish that was my first.
I know the value of that information is so great, and I continuously strive to be that business. It's of my definition of what that has meant has evolved over time, because I used to think, like a lot of people think, oh, I have a business and I'm gonna have people work for me, and then I can just go relax on the beach.
Yeah, right.
And that's not the case.
Yeah.
But yes, being able to step out of it to work on it is a whole different experience, and I really love it.
Yeah.
And more than I ever thought I would. And I have stepped back from doing a lot of body work. I see a few clients, and I see clients that really need me.
Right.
But I allow my staff to take over most of the massage because they are exceptionally talented.
Right.
So when this happened, I was faced with the idea of having to shut down all these projects I was working on and being a receptionist for myself,
Right.
or hiring Intelligent Office And I had looked at Intelligent Office before and thought that it was out of my price range, and how could I possibly get people who aren't on site to know all this information. And I really misjudged it
Mhm.
very much. These professionals over here are exceptionally trained as receptionists. And so the training that usually takes me 2 weeks to do, I was able to do in about 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And I was stunned.
Right.
I didn't have to repeat myself once. It was
Right.
just like, you sure you got this?
Right.
And we had a few mistakes over the first week, but with a quick email, everything was resolved, and like everything ran smoothly. And I was able to hire a new receptionist. I was able to continue with all the projects and not have to shut anything down, and was just so happy with my experience of taking that step. It was like this huge weight lifted off my shoulders, and I suddenly was like, I can fire people every time I need to.
Right,
Instead of like it being such a huge deal for me personally,
Yeah.
which gives me freedom as a business owner to really run the business that I want, instead of having to cater to the people who work for me.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
It makes so much sense. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because I think so many times when you go through the process of finding somebody, hiring somebody, having somebody to be part of the family, it's not easy to kind of make that, fire fast as you hear all along,
Yeah.
because you're thinking automatically, like, I just spent this much time, this much energy. I don't want to go through this again and again and
Exactly.
again. And I can't just imagine like all the things that were kind of going through your mind when you had to make that decision and how to transition over. But I love that you were able to kind of find a solution and be able to kind of hit the ground running with that.
Right. Well, there are a few occasions when there's no discussion. It has to be this way. And you're looking at this
Right.
giant cliff of all the stuff that has to go along with it.
Right.
Uh, But now I feel very free from most of that. Like, I can turn on those phones from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and not have to even think about it. Our booking numbers didn't drop,
Mm,
our complaints didn't go up. The people who work here acted like they were in the building at my business, and so there was never a disconnect from the clients about, well, some satellite service is answering your phones and they
Right,
clearly
right.
don't know what they're doing. It was
Right.
none of that. It was spectacular.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that makes so much sense. And being able to kind of work on the business and being able to kind of have that support in that way, that kind of stuff. It did so quickly. 45 minutes is kind of insane to be able to kind of do
Insane.
that.
It's insane how fast it was.
Yeah.
And literally, there were only 2 things I had to email about the next week. And it
Right.
was like just a teeniest little tweak, and then never had to make mention of anything ever.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And so you've been in business for some time, so you being able to kind of have that operations part in place, that's helped out a lot over the years.
Absolutely. I have been in business for 12 years.
Mhm.
And if I had known about how easy it would be to work with Intelligent Office, I would have, I would like to think that I would have done better business, because I have been in places with mostly administrative staff that we don't see eye to eye.
Right.
And I felt trapped in having to keep that person while I made strides so that I could have the time to replace them.
Right.
And that's not a way to run a business, a healthy business.
Right.
So there've been a couple of instances of that. I would have been using Intelligent Office a lot earlier had I had done all the research. It was way less expensive than I expected it to be.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I imagine that, a lot of what Intelligent Office does is it kind of fills a gap in a way that sometimes we don't even realize it can be done.
I would have started with Intelligent Office as my reception,
Yeah.
because I did my own reception for about 3 years.
Right.
And then I struggled with the position of reception for 2 or 3 more years.
Mhm.
I had a couple of exceptional receptionists,
Right.
and I've had a lot of good enough. And the people who work here are more on the exceptional side.
Right.
And that's more in line with the service that we offer. So I would have started with them way earlier.
Yeah.
It would have allowed me the opportunity to work on my business from a much earlier point. I don't think I really started working on my business until I had been in business for 5 years.
Okay.
I bought my business pre-existing and it was in chaos.
Oh, was it?
So there was no procedures, there were no standards. We had 3 massage therapists and 6 rooms.
Oh, wow.
Like it was very small, and it was really just 3 practitioners working together under somebody who didn't know anything about business or massage.
Mm.
And so I got it for, at the right time and the right financial obligation for it for me.
Right.
And then saw a lot of potential, but because I was working in the business for so long, I wasn't able to work on the business and bring it up to where I could see the vision for it,
Right.
but everything takes longer than you want it to, and everything takes more effort,
Yeah.
so than you think it does. So trying to do a project while I'm trying to answer the phones, while I'm a massage therapist was a lot. It was a lot. And I would have immediately gone for the expertise help instead of trying to train somebody to be an expert.
Right. That makes so much sense. And I have this quote that I often say that the systems will set you free.
Yeah.
And I think you only have that freedom if you do kind of take those steps. But it sounds like you were working from, I won't even say zero. A lot of times when you're getting started, you feel like you're working from zero because you had to do a turnaround on top of that. It sounds like it might have been more in the negatives to get it back to where it was.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. I think I thought it was starting from a little above zero, but looking back, there was just so much that needed to be changed that it was, I look at it now and I think, what was I thinking? But
Yeah.
it all works out. The universe does all kinds of wonderful things for you.
Yeah. Exactly.
The other thing I would have told myself to do is get a business coach earlier.
Mhm.
But business coach, a good one, can really help you make those processes out of what you want and what you have,
Mhm.
and kind of bring it together so that it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And help build those cultures and things like that.
Yeah.
But that and good support, that's all that you need to get it to really make it happen.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot of things about a lot of different kinds of businesses, but networking, coaching,
Yeah.
and Intelligent Office, that's where I would start if I had to do it
There you
again.
go. There you go. I absolutely love that. And especially because we connected first, through networking as well too, and being able to kind of get your business and name out there is huge. But you want to make sure that, you have the infrastructure, for lack of a better term, to be able to kind of grow those influx and people that are kind of coming through the door.
Well, I'm sure you, like I have seen many people enter into networking without the structure.
Yeah.
And they start to network and suddenly they disappear from the group and you're like, what happened? And they're like, I
Got too
can't get
busy.
it."
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and I never wanted to be that person because I
Right.
want to be able to help as many people would like to visit us.
Yeah.
So we're always growing and looking for that, but yeah, that structure is immense.
Yeah. Absolutely helps you to not implode and to make sure that at the end of the day, I think we forget that a lot of times what we try to do as service providers is provide, service to make an impact for people. So being able to kind of have this structure to do that is huge.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Leslie, truly appreciate you for taking some time out to connect with us, give us an update on all the awesome things you're working on. For people that are listening to this, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, find out about your studio and all the awesome things you're working on?
Absolutely. AlexandriaMassageTherapy.com is our website. Our phone number is 703-548-0310, and you can talk to one of our fabulous front desk staff, either here at Intelligent Office or in the building, and I promise you won't know the difference. And we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram. You can, and we're on MindBody. MindBody, the app for finding massages and exercise classes. So we are on Prince Street in Old Town Alexandria, and stop by anytime.
Absolutely. And to make it even easier, we'll have the links and information in the show notes too, so that everybody can get a hold of you. But thank you so much again, Leslie. Great to have you back on. I'm looking forward to the next time too.
Excellent, me too.
Awesome.
Thank you.